I am organising the summer school in Glasgow, and I've allocated the students, and I'm happy to be here with all of you.
So this is the second year of the GO program, and we improved it a little bit this time, and we have another partner, the Juvente organization. And for example, today we brought children from the refugee housing to the farm here, and I think it's really good for the children and also for the students.
So I would say that our experience has been pretty great so far. Staying in mind, it seems like a really cool sort of studenty place to stay. Everyone's been really welcoming. I think like the German students have helped us out. It's been great to get to know them.
When I came here, I had like another view of migration and of people with migrant background, but it actually broke those stereotypes, and I'm really glad I could do this.
Zum Einklappen einfach, du musst nur noch das hier, perfekt ist doch, hier ist uns präsent. Wenn du das Plus...
The school is really interesting. It's the first time I've got a real hands-on view of like different education systems, and then even more, you know, unique is the kids are from different migrant backgrounds. I think that also is kind of inspiring to be able to see these kids just taking it in their stride and not really worrying about it day to day.
And they were just children, they were like any other kids. It was like looking after or spending time with any other set of kids. And I think that's so important for people to know when they think that it's acceptable for these children to potentially be dying, to potentially be like stuck in a war-ridden country.
A lot of the classrooms were very similar to ours, but there was one woman who taught through sport. So she picked the kids who wanted to do sport, and she had lesson plans centred around that. And also to cope with the language barriers, there was a lady who did a lot of pictures, and then she'd ask them to explain what was in the pictures, and that's how they discussed politics and like the European Parliament, and that was really interesting.
Getting to meet people who have actually been in a situation where they need to be refugees, so you're putting a face to the number which you hear in the news, and getting to know people and understand their experience and realise that actually they're amazing, adaptable people, especially the children that we were buddied with at the school. That was my favourite thing, was realising that they were picking up like 3 languages at once. They were so adaptable, and they didn't see any differences between them, and that was probably my favourite thing.
Because it just made me realize how easy it is not to go out and meet people. We kind of limit ourselves to close friends, close family and stuff. And we didn't know each other 2 weeks ago, and now I feel so like I just know so much about you, and then there's so much more to know about you. You shouldn't be afraid to go out and meet people, because they are not what you think they are, ever.
I just found it really interesting seeing the kids' reactions to the teachers that were really fantastic in that school, because there were some fantastic teachers. There was one teacher who was she just glowed, and you could tell that all of the kids adored her, and that's just kind of reiterated to me the importance that one person can make to a kid's life, to anyone's life. You know, teachers are fundamental, and no matter how difficult a situation a school might be in, if there's one teacher that can inspire a few kids, then that makes a huge difference.
It was interesting to get there and really not understand, so I could almost empathise with how people would feel when they first got here. So we sat in on the classrooms, and we were, observing German language class, but I couldn't follow it. And at first I was like, why am I here? This is really frustrating, like what's the point? And then thinking about it more this afternoon, I've been like, wow, that's what people come here. People have arrived after having travelled from a different country to then be shoved in school and put in education, whereas the school was really interesting because they spend a lot of time emphasising getting everybody's level of German to the same level. Like it's their priority.
For example, like nationalities, like you know that places exist, but like I've never talked to anybody from Afghanistan, for example, right? Anybody from Syria even. So it's like really important, because otherwise you just don't understand it. You can't really relate to the people from there, I think.
And now our main aim is that we have a place where so-called German people who live here since a long time and new arriving people meet each other and get to know each other. And as well, people use it as meeting place with each other. So yes, Afghan people meet other Afghan people, and it's still a place for new arriving persons to find help.
But one of the coolest things about Bon Cafe was meeting this guy called Yasan, and he was telling us about how he wants to study building design, and he said that in Germany after the World Wars you rebuilt the country, and he says he wants to go back home and rebuild his country, which was very moving to hear, and it was quite important, I think, hearing about the different contexts of people in Germany and the way in which the whole history of the country affects how people think about it, and as opposed to Britain's quite kind of colonial history.
I couldn't make the language course because we are not allowed until we get the resident permit, and then I bought a dictionary, English Deutsch dictionary, and then I used to watch Grey's Anatomy in German. Then I translate the words I learned. Then I tried to translate the letters we got from court, and I was the expert in the camp.
Yeah. Went into a room and I was sat with this lady. We had no idea who each other were. The German lady said basically what you're going to be doing is reading with this lady, and she just accepted me straight away. I accepted her. We were sat on a table for I don't know how long, like two hours. She was literally just reading German books, texts or whatever was in front of her to me in German, and I was either trying to explain what each word meant or correcting the way in which she pronounced it, which was fascinating because first of all, German isn't even my first language, and it's not hers, so we can relate to a certain extent. But then you can also see how the importance of language, as much as everyone should learn a language, what's needed is just human contact and actually just being next to someone it doesn't have to be 2 hours, it has to be like 5 minutes even, for different perspectives, but also like language isn't key, it's just the actual willingness to be there. So I think there is a barrier sometimes with like a project like this. People think, oh, I don't speak German, I can't go. But most people here have come anyways, and that's what's important, that we're here.
And we forget how important it is to remember that they're human beings who just need to be safe and need somewhere to feel warmth and contact and networks.